all know if you're a gig worker or freelancer, your income might be less consistent than someone who has a 9-to-5 job, and that can actually impact whether or not you're able to take money out for a cash advance. Hello, I'm Alexa, I'm the cash advance queen, and today we're going to be talking about the best apps for gig workers and freelancers, and also why this is. Why is it hard for gig workers to take out a cash advance, and what do they look for when they're approving you for an advance? So I'm excited for this one because I'm a freelancer myself, so let's get started. First of all, cash advances can be a pretty helpful thing. They don't require any credit checks, so you're able to take money out without having to do that. And the fees can also be pretty low as well. However, if you are a freelancer like myself, they tend to look at consistent deposits as opposed to how much money is in your account. So even if you're making bank doing DoorDash or Uber, you might still have an issue taking out a cash advance. So if we're looking at traditional loans and cash advance apps, traditional loans are going to take a look at you and or your assets. So it's going to look at your credit score, it's going to look at your income, and then it can also take into consideration factors like your house or your car or your security deposit. Now, if we're looking at cash advance apps, they do not look at your credit. They are going to look at your bank account directly. They don't really care what your credit score is. They're gonna just link directly to your bank account and then take a little look-see to see what's going on there. They do this by connecting through Plaid, which is a safe and secure way to connect your bank account and share your financial information. So once it gathers that data, there's going to be a few important factors that it's going to look at in order to qualify you for a cash advance. First of all, it's going to look at your account balance. It's going to see how long you've had the account open, how much money you have currently, your average balance, and then also how many times you have been in the negative if that has ever happened. And then the second factor, this is where it's going to get us freelancers and gig workers because it's going to look at the consistency of your income. It wants to see consistent deposits, something that looks like a paycheck that is basically deposited into your account at regular intervals. Why? Every single video, you guys can watch all the videos on my channel. Every single one has me messing up a word. I know how to pronounce these words, but for some reason, when I sit in front of the camera, my brain goes, let's get creative. Let's say this in a very strange way. They want to see deposits at consistent intervals, like $1,500 every other week or whatever, like a regular paycheck. The longer the deposit history, the more you will most likely qualify for, and they're also going to look at how long you have been depositing. So they're probably going to look for around 3 or 4 deposits to get a good idea of what your account looks like. So this is where we kind of get bit in the butt because we do not get paid consistently, right? Or at least a lot of us don't. So our income isn't coming in like bi-monthly, right? It's coming in at weird times with inconsistent amounts, and that's gonna raise red flags for some of these cash advance apps. Apps like Float Me won't even allow gig workers, like for DoorDash or Uber or whatever, to even take out an advance. So that's kind of lame. And that's why I'm here, because I'm going to show you guys which apps you can use. So if you don't have consistent deposits and you have to start out with a small amount that you're approved for, you can make this amount higher the more that you use this system and pay back your deposits. A lot of apps will advertise that you can take out up to $500 or even $1,000, but then the first cash advance that you're qualified for is only around $20, so that's kind of a big difference. As the app sees you repaying these cash advance apps on time, you can quickly raise your limit that way, because it's seeing that you're reliable. Some of the apps will even tell you how much you can increase your balance for each cash advance. Like Grid Money will start off at a $50 cash advance, and then it increases by $10 every time you take out a cash advance until you hit the maximum of $200. There's no late fees for repayment. However, if you are late with your payments, you can actually decrease your cash advance limit, which isn't that great. And there's also always a risk of you getting suspended and not being able to take out another cash advance. So try not to be late if you can help it. Okay, so now that we've gone over the overview, I want to talk about my favorite cash advance apps for freelancers and gig workers. It's kind of overwhelming at first because there's just so many apps, and I don't want you guys to just sit there trying to figure out which ones are going to work for you, or having to go through all the trouble of trying to qualify on each one and then getting declined. So let's go over my favorites. There's 4 of them. Okay, so the first app is called Dave. Dave is a very popular cash advance app, and it has been around for a long time, so it is reliable. You can get up to $500 in minutes, and I know this because I have tested it. But you will probably only qualify for a small amount the first time, so just be prepared for that. Dave also has this really cool feature where it's going to show you seasonal or part-time work, or show you other like side hustles where you can make money, like filling out surveys to earn some extra income. So that's a really cool thing. So Dave is one of the most accommodating oh great, I can't do this. I start laughing when I start talking again, and then I get comments under my YouTube video that I'm just laughing randomly, and this is why, because I mess up and then I cut it, but then I'm still giggling from when I messed up. So for all of you hating on my laugh, that is why it is happening. It's because I'm messing up like every other scene. Okay, Dave is one of the most accommodating cash advance apps for gig workers. It wants to see at least $1,000 monthly in deposits, and it wants to see probably around 3 consistent deposits. So remember, when it comes to deposits, they're looking for time intervals that are consistent and amounts that are consistent. So there's going to need to be at least 3 recurring deposits in your bank account for you to qualify. The app Earnin is also another option. It does give cash advance apps to gig workers. However, there are some restrictions. You can qualify for up to $100 a day or $750 per pay period. You can also pay the lightning speed fee, which is going to instantly transfer the money into your account. The fee caps out at $4.99, and your first time is also free, so that is cool. You can check it out without having to pay extra. Earnin does ask for tips, but you can totally skip that, and it's not going to affect anything about how much money you're going to qualify for. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky for gig workers. It's going to look for pay periods that are the same day each week. So if you get paid more than once a week, like if you're doing Uber or something like that, you're not going to qualify. You're also more likely to get a cash advance if you have a direct deposit set up. If you're using popular payment platforms like PayPal or Venmo, those don't count and you won't be able to qualify. So that's kind of a bummer, because I know for me, I use PayPal a lot for my stuff. So that is something to also look out for. If you get paid through Daily Pay, Zelle, or a bank transfer, your employer's name has to show up on that transaction for it to count, which there's just a lot of restrictions. And then also, it doesn't like checks. So a lot of hoops to jump through if you want to go with Earnin. However, you can submit manual timesheets to Earnin that's going to show how much you worked per week and your income. So that can also help you get a cash advance. Okay, now we're going to talk about Gerald. Gerald. It reminds me of the Carl, that YouTube video. Okay, anyway. Gerald actually caters towards gig workers and freelancers. You can qualify for up to $215, which is lower than some of the other cash advance apps. And then you also have to pay a $9.99 subscription fee. That's a monthly fee to be able to take out a cash advance, and then an express fee if you want your money instantly is $3.99. Gerald is also, I'm refraining from saying it weird. Gerald has a little bit of a quirky feature where you can use your cash advance to make Amazon purchases, and if you do that, you can avoid their fees. Last and definitely not least is Moves Financial. Moves Financial is made specifically for gig workers and freelancers. It works with over 20 platforms, including Uber, Instacart, Lyft, and then some of the less common ones like Rover or GoPuff. Most cash advances are looking for income that's coming from a specific place, but Moves takes all of your gig money from the multiple different sources and consolidates it, so it's looking at your total income and will qualify you that way. And you can qualify for up to $1,500, which is, I think, the highest amount that I've seen so far. However, in the beginning, your first advance is only going to be $25. You'll need to actually open an account with Moves through its partner bank and put your deposits into that account instead of your bank account. And you'll need at least $100 to flow through that account before it will let you qualify for an advance. One of the things that isn't so great is that there's a 3-day waiting period after you've repaid that cash advance. So you're gonna have to wait a little bit between times that you take out an advance. And these cash advances are also a form of business loan, so the pricing can be a little bit more expensive than other cash advances. Moves is not very transparent about their pricing as we would like to see. So that is something that is still kind of iffy or like up in the air. All right, you guys, I hope that was helpful and gave you some different options to choose from if you do gig work or you're a freelancer. If you found this helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe, and you can also visit the blog. I will link it in the description, where you can go and check out other cash advances or learn more about the ones that we've just discussed here. Thanks, guys, and I will talk to you soon.